and sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we stay on this region now. Now we move on to Middle East. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghaei has said that Iran welcomes any initiative that can stop what he called a genocide and allow aid to reach Palestinians. But he has warned that the latest peace plan poses serious dangers for Palestine and the wider region. Baghaei added that Iran has no immediate plans for negotiations with the West, though diplomatic contacts remain ongoing. He has also condemned the detention of an Iranian citizen in France, calling it illegal, while confirming talks are underway over a potential prisoner exchange involving French detainees held in Iran. Let's listen into what Esmail Baghaei, spokesperson of Iran, has said.
ما از هر ابتکار عملی که در این مرحله منجر بشه به توقف نسل‌کشی در غزه و فراهم آوردن امکان کمک رسانی به مردم مظلوم فلسطین اشغالی استقبال می‌کنیم. ما نسبت به این طرح نگرانی‌های جدی داریم. هشدار دادیم در بیانیه‌مون نسبت به خطرات و مسائل جدی که میتواند به بهانه پیگیری این طرح برای فلسطین و برای مردم فلسطین و منطقه.
Now for this discussion, we go back to Professor Andrew Latham. He's a professor of international relations, joins us live from Minneapolis. Thank you, Professor, for staying with us. Now, Iran has once again called for or welcomed someone to negotiate peace and also without naming any country. And also we have seen something similar back in UNGA. They mentioned, they thanked some countries, but without directly mentioning who is Iran suggesting over here? Which country are they hinting to?
Well, I think they're signaling to a number of different constituencies, both at home and abroad. I think we have to put this in the context of both Iran and the Gulf Arab states that are in a competition for dominance in the Persian Gulf region are also vying for influence and maybe even leadership within the so-called global South. And that generates some cross-cutting pressures. On the one hand, if this Trump plan bears fruit, that's an open question, but if it does, nobody wants to be on the wrong side of history. Nobody wants to be seen as not participating in this peace process. So both Iran and the Gulf Cooperation Council states, notably Qatar and Saudi Arabia, are saying, yes, we support this peace process. On the other hand, if it goes wrong, or if it shakes out in ways that hurt the Palestinian people, nobody wants to be entirely associated with that either. So there's always the caveat. Yes, we are in favor of this peace process, but there are serious problems with it with respect to Palestinian self-governance, etc., that need to be addressed. And so we see signals coming out of Tehran, we see signals coming out of Riyadh and various other capitals that are mixed. On the one hand, yes, we're in favor of this peace process, we hope it works. On the other hand, but if it doesn't, or it doesn't address all of our issues, well, we have some concerns.
Right. And what do you think about the strained relations or escalating relations between France and Iran? Do you think there can be any other country that can negotiate peace, or do you think some U.S. will have to again comment or bring both of them to negotiating table?
I think we need to look at the powers that are actually consequential, that have the relationships. And when I look at that map, I see the United States as the only great power with significant influence, perhaps with China as a second-tier player, and perhaps Russia if it weren't so distracted by the war in Ukraine and other issues. France, with all due respect to my French friends and colleagues, is simply not relevant in this equation. I doubt very much that anybody in Iran, except out of desperation, is listening to what Paris has to say, or London for that matter, and certainly Berlin. I mean, they're not serious players in this particular theater of operations. The US, definitely, China, perhaps, and then of course the regional players, Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, etc. President Macron has his own, as you just covered, his own domestic issues that he's dealing with at the moment. I rather suspect that this is an effort to distract the French public from those problems.
With that, I would like to thank Professor Andrew Latham for joining us and sharing that insight all the way from Minneapolis. Thank you. Now we move on and we stay in Middle East. Israeli citizens gathered at the Nir Oz kibbutz near the Gaza Strip to honor those killed and taken hostage during the Hamas assault on October 7, 2023. According to reports, nearly 25% of kibbutz residents were either killed or kidnapped when terrorists stormed Israel's border defenses, dragging 251 hostages back to Gaza Strip. As of today, 48 hostages remain in Hamas's custody, of which 20 are alive. Meanwhile, Israelis at the ceremony have reflected on the trauma of the attack. The October 7, 2023 attack killed over 1,200 Israelis, while Israel's retaliation has claimed more than 67,000 Palestinian lives. Let's listen in.
ומציינים את היום שבו הכל התפרק, והם כאן במרחק נגיעה זועקים וקולם לא נשמע. 731 ימים, בשבילנו שנתיים ובשבילם נצח, שאנו מנסים להשיבם בכל דרך, זועקים, מוחים, שובתים, מתפללים, והם עדיין לא כאן. תמיר, רונן, איתן, זלמן, צ'רצ'יל, מתן, אריאל, דוד וקופר שנחטפו מכאן, ועוד 39 חטופים וחטופה. כולם ולא אחד פחות. אולי אין בכוחנו להשיבם והלוואי ויש. אך בכוחנו ומחובתנו להמשיך לנסות. בכוחנו לצעוק. זה לא נורמלי! בכוחנו לקרוא בשמותיהם ולהציג את תמונותיהם בכל זמן ובכל מקום. בכוחנו להשמיע קול שיחצה עד אליהם וייתן אוויר ליום נוסף בגיהנום.
Now we move on to Asia. Thai Prime Minister Anun Charnvirakul has ordered urgent relief efforts after flooding triggered by days of heavy rain and storms hit 16 provinces over the past week. The floods in the country have killed 12 people and affected more than 100,000 households. Officials have visited villages to distribute relief aid. Floodwaters have been seen as high as the housing level of stilt houses. The Interior Ministry has said that the floods inundated parts of the northern, central, and northeastern Thailand. The Uttaradit province in the upper northern region, where 5 people have been killed, is among the worst hit. Last year, 22 people were killed by flash floods and mudslides caused by monsoon rains across Thailand. Now we move on. India and Russia